B2 was just the beginning. At C1, you'll express complex ideas easily, understand subtle meanings.
Watch carefully. This is your next step. Welcome to C1. Here, your English becomes more precise and confident. Yes, you'll express ideas clearly, even the most complex ones. One key at this level is mastering nuance. Subtle differences in meaning make a big impact in communication. You'll also learn to link ideas smoothly. Using connectors and transitions naturally is essential. At C1, speaking becomes more spontaneous. You start thinking in English rather than translating your head. Idioms and phrasal verbs make your language more natural. They help you sound like a native without overthinking. Listening skills must improve too. You'll understand subtleties, tone, and implied meanings. Reading complex text develops advanced vocabulary. Academic articles, novels, and opinion pieces are perfect. Writing also advances significantly at C1. You learn to organize ideas logically and persuasively. Paraphrasing becomes a powerful tool. You can explain the same idea in multiple ways effortlessly. C1 learners often struggle with overthinking mistakes. The focus should be on clarity and style, not perfection. Debating or discussing abstract topics is excellent practice. Philosophy, culture, or current events push your thinking further. Fluency now includes expressing opinions confidently and responding to arguments logically and politely. Tone and register become very important. You adapt your English for formal, casual, or professional situations. At this level, listening to authentic content daily is vital. News, interviews, podcasts, anything challenging. You also need to expand your collocations. Correct word combinations make your language sound native-like. Pronunciation refinement continues. Intonation and stress patterns now give your speech natural rhythm. Expressing subtle emotions in English becomes possible. You can show surprise, doubt, or sarcasm naturally. Self-correction still helps, but less often interrupts flow. Awareness of mistakes lets you adjust in real time. Real fluency at C1 comes with consistent, meaningful practice. Not just hours, but smart and deliberate practice. Remember, C1 is where English becomes your tool. Your ideas start flowing freely, and people understand you effortlessly. Congratulations! This is where English stops being learning and starts being your tool for expressing ideas freely. Expressing complex thoughts has never been easier. Subscribe now and take the next step in your fluency journey. At C1, understanding native speakers and fast conversations, you'll catch nuances, idioms, and implied meanings almost automatically. Discussing abstract topics strengthens your critical thinking. Philosophy for global issues challenge your vocabulary and ideas. Using synonyms and advanced vocabulary avoids repetition. This makes your speech sound polished and professional. You'll notice grammar becomes more about style than rules. You can bend it creatively without sounding wrong. You'll notice grammar becomes more about style than rules. You can bend it creatively without sounding wrong. Speaking about feelings and opinions becomes more precise. You can show doubt, surprise, or certainty naturally. Listening to debates or discussions improves comprehension. You learn to follow arguments and spot key points quickly. Complex sentence structures become natural in speech. Clauses, conditionals, and inversions are used automatically. Expressing cause and effect, contrast, and emphasis becomes easier. Connectors like therefore, nonetheless, as a result, feel natural now. Reading advanced texts exposes you to formal and informal styles. This helps adapt your English for any situation. Writing skills now include persuasive and argumentative styles. Essays, emails, and reports become more professional. Paraphrasing and summarizing ideas is an essential skill. It allows you to explain concepts clearly in your own words. C1 learners start thinking critically in English. You question ideas and support opinions with reasoning. Listening for tone and intention is key. Humor, sarcasm, and subtle hints are easier to understand. Pronunciation refinement continues, especially stress and rhythm. Intonation now conveys meaning, not just clarity. Discussions about abstract ideas improve fluency. You become comfortable expressing hypothetical or complex concepts. C1 is where mistakes are less important than clarity. Focus on conveying ideas naturally and confidently. Using collocations correctly makes your language sound native. Small combinations like make a decision versus take a decision matter. Expressing degrees of certainty, probability, or doubt is key. Phrases like, it's likely that, or I'm almost certain help. Remember, C1 is the level where English becomes flexible. You start expressing your thoughts freely, almost effortlessly. At this stage, debates are excellent practice. They teach you to organize ideas, respond quickly, and defend your point. You'll notice subtle differences in word meanings. Choosing the exact word conveys your message more precisely. Listening to academic or professional content is key. Talks, lectures, and podcasts expand both vocabulary and understanding. Expressing abstract ideas becomes natural. You can explain concepts, hypothetical situations, or complex opinions easily. Nuance and tone are essential at C1. You can now understand implied meanings, jokes, and sarcasm. Using phrasal verbs and idioms correctly makes your speech native-like. It's subtle, but it changes how people perceive your English. Using phrasal verbs and idioms correctly makes your speech native-like. It's subtle, but it changes how people perceive your English. Complex sentence structures flow naturally in your speaking. Relative clauses, conditionals, and inversions become automatic. Expressing cause, effect, contrast, and emphasis feels effortless. Connectors like therefore, nonetheless, as a result sound natural now. Writing at this level is persuasive and organized. Essays, reports, and professional emails feel structured and polished. Paraphrasing and summarizing is essential for fluency. You can explain complex ideas clearly in your own words. Critical thinking in English develops fully. You can evaluate arguments, provide opinions, and reason logically. Listening for tone, intention, and emphasis vital. Humor, subtle hints, and implied meaning become easier to catch. Pronunciation refinement continues. Stress, rhythm, and intonation now convey meaning naturally. Discussions about hypothetical or abstract topics improve fluency. You can articulate nuanced opinions without hesitation. Clarity now matters more than avoiding mistakes. Confidence and natural flow take priority. Using advanced collocations improves your language style. Correct combinations make your English sound professional and it-like. Expressing probability, certainty, or doubt is key. Phrases like it's likely that or almost certain become second nature. You'll handle formal, casual, and professional English comfortably. Adjusting tone and register comes naturally now. Continuous practice is still essential. Smart, meaningful, daily practice makes the difference between good and great. Congratulations, you're now at the edge of C2. English is no longer a challenge. It's a tool to express your thoughts freely. It's about owning the language. Express ideas with precision, understand every nuance, speak with authority and confidence.
Express ideas with precision. Understand every nuance. Speak with authority and confidence. Subscribe now because this level is rare and not everyone is ready for it.
At this level, English starts to reflect who you are. Your ideas sound confident, thoughtful, and clear. You don't just speak, you communicate with purpose. Every word supports your message. Precision becomes your strength. You choose words carefully to express exactly what you mean. Your voice now carries authority. People listen because your ideas are well structured. English is no longer a barrier. It's a bridge to knowledge, careers, and global conversations. You can explain complex thoughts with ease. Even difficult topics feel manageable. Your arguments become logical and persuasive. You support opinions with clarity and evidence. You adjust your tone naturally, formal when needed, relaxed when appropriate. You understand not just words, but intention. Meaning goes beyond vocabulary. At C1, fluency feels controlled and confident. You speak without rushing or hesitation. This level builds trust in your communication. Others see you as competent and credible. English becomes a tool for leadership. You guide conversations instead of following them. You can influence opinions through language. Words now have real impact. Cultural understanding deepens at this stage. You sense what is appropriate in different contexts. Mistakes no longer define your ability. Confidence defines it. You think critically in English. Your mind works freely in the language. This is the level of independence. You rely on yourself, not translations. Every conversation sharpens your skill. Every challenge strengthens your fluency. You are no longer preparing to speak. You are already speaking at an advanced level. C1 shapes your voice. C2 will refine it to mastery. If you've reached this point, be the voice. C1 is the level where confidence appears and ideas begin to flow freely. But mastery is one step ahead. Subscribe now and join us in C2, where English becomes truly yours.